Hi, everybody. Welcome to Coping Skills Tool Belt on this lovely Thursday, January 28th, 2021. I am thrilled and honored to have our special presenter with us today, Tricia Stern. Tricia is a licensed clinical social worker in Montclair, New Jersey. She and I are in the same county, and I have the privilege of being a colleague of Tricia's for many years. We've both been therapists in that county in New Jersey for many years, and I've worked with her, collaborated many times, and I was thrilled when she was posting that she's teaching mindful self-compassion, and I immediately emailed her and said, what do you think about presenting to our group? And she said, absolutely, I would love to. And I will introduce Tricia officially in a second. Couple of notes on our workshop today. It will be about an hour. We will end promptly by 1 p.m. There will be time for question and answers at the end. That said, if you have questions, feel free to post them in the chat, and I will be asking them throughout the workshop and especially at the end. Our workshops are recorded live every Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern, and a link will be emailed to everybody that registers. So even if you can't attend a future workshop, if you are interested in the topic, feel free to register, tell your friends. Next week's topic is going to be, what is the topic? Oh, I have it here. Yoga breathing to evoke eternal calm with an amazing yoga therapist named Brittany. And I'm really excited to have her come with us next week. Also, we've been having tons of email glitches, and I really appreciate your patience with our email system. We've dumped the old one, and we now have a new one. So hopefully all of those really annoying issues that have happened with our email system will no longer happen. So if you have any concerns about that, please email me success@rockstarpractice.com. And if you have any questions, you can private chat me, and I'd be happy to answer. So welcome, everyone. It is my honor and privilege, like I said before, to welcome Tricia Stern. Tricia is a licensed clinical social worker in Montclair, New Jersey, specializing in working with kids, teens, families, adults. And Tricia has a mind-body approach and is now a self-compassion and psychotherapy program attendee coordinator, you can say the right title, and is leading a workshop which starts actually in 2 days on Saturday, online workshop for mindful self-compassion. And so it is my honor and privilege to welcome Tricia Stern.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you all for being here, and I'm so thrilled to be here, and always to be able to talk about mindful self-compassion is really a gift for me. I'm just going to bring up my screen, my slides, and I really have found self-compassion to be a gift for me, both in my personal life and in my work with clients, and hoping to impart a little bit of that gift to you today. And we'll, as Donna said, be giving some more information about a mindful self-compassion course that I am co-teaching that starts on Saturday. So what is mindful self-compassion? Mindful self-compassion was started by two psychologists, Krista Neff, who is really the preeminent researcher on self-compassion. She's at the University of Texas at Austin, and Dr. Chris Germer, who's a clinical psychologist who had been doing a lot of work on mindfulness and psychotherapy. And the two of them got together and really created this very beautiful program called Mindful Self-Compassion. And sort of the simple way of understanding mindful self-compassion, as Chris Germer says, is self-compassion is simply giving the same kindness to ourselves that we give to others. It's really making that U-turn from what we're giving to others, and then really U-turning it to ourselves. And I think this is particularly important for therapists because we're so used to giving and you know, sensing what our clients are feeling and experiencing. And often, I always say, I was never explicitly taught in my training to, sort of shut myself down. But really once I started learning mindful self-compassion and some other body-based approaches, I realized how much I was sort of shutting myself, my feelings, my parts down. And so this has been a great gift, not only to me, but I think, and we're going to talk about that, the more I can be with myself and what's going on for me, the better able I am to be with my clients. So there's 3 components of mindful self-compassion. The first is mindfulness. And mindfulness is not really, we're not meaning meditation. It's really an awareness. That's what we mean by mindfulness. It's recognizing when we're stressed or struggling, having a difficult emotion or experience. And it's bringing that awareness without judgment or overreacting. But we're not just stopping at being aware. We're not just stopping of like noticing. We really want to bring self-kindness. We really want to be supportive and understanding towards ourselves when we're having a hard time, rather than being harshly self-critical. And mindful self-compassion also has this element of connectedness or common humanity, where we're remembering that everyone makes mistakes, everyone has a hard time, everyone's going through difficulties. And certainly now with COVID, we are all going through a shared experience. But it really is helpful to us to know we're not alone, because often when we're struggling, we feel very isolated, we feel very alone. And really this approach is being aware of our suffering, turning towards it with kindness, and realizing that we are connected. And there's 2 parts of self-compassion, the yin and the yang. I think when people think of self-compassion, they normally think of the yin side, the soothing, the comforting, the validating, all very important parts of self-compassion. But there's also a yang side. That's like how we're acting in the world, protecting, providing, motivating. So I like to think of yang as more, being self-compassionate in a yang way is really, I can set a boundary. I can say no with love. I can plan. I can problem solve. And as Krista Neff so beautifully says, we need both of these energies of self-compassion, the yin and the yang. They're absolutely needed if we're going to take care of ourselves and if we're going to alleviate our own suffering. So there's a lot of misgivings about self-compassion. You might have been aware of some yourself, or even coming into this saying, I don't know. One of the biggest ones we hear is self-pity. If I give myself compassion, I'm gonna just have a pity party for myself. But actually the research shows that, when we're practicing self-compassion, we're recognizing that life is hard for everyone. Remember that common humanity, that connectedness. And so therefore we don't exaggerate the extent of our challenges because we're being mindful and we're turning towards it. And research shows that we're more likely, when we're practicing self-compassion and we're turning to what's going on inside, we're more likely to engage in perspective taking and thinking about what someone else is going through. We're less likely to ruminate on how bad things are. And it really is not a woe is me attitude. Sometimes people are worried if I do self-compassion, that makes me weak. But research has shown the opposite, that it's a reliable source of inner strength. It actually promotes resilience when faced with difficulty. And self-compassion has been shown to help you be better able to cope with tough situations. I hear this a lot, particularly from therapists, well, if I'm taking care of myself, then I'm being selfish. I'm not able to think and care for all the people around me, my clients, my family, my friends. But again, research shows the opposite. When we can give compassion to ourselves, it actually enables us to give more to others. And self-compassionate people have been shown to actually be more caring and supportive in relationships. They're less jealous, they're more likely to compromise in conflicts, and they're more compassionate and forgiving towards others. Sort of along the same lines, self-compassion is going to make me self-indulgent. I'm just going to sort of make excuses for myself. But actually, that's not what self-compassion is. Self-compassion is like, oh, it's not like, oh, yeah, you don't want to do that. That's okay. That's not what self-compassion is. Self-compassion wants us to take long-term health to be a priority, not short-term pleasure. And again, the research shows that self-compassionate people engage in healthier behaviors, exercise, eating well, drinking less, and going to the doctor more regularly. And I said about making excuses, but actually self-compassion provides us the safety needed to admit we made a mistake. Oh yeah, I made a mistake, and we're turning towards ourselves and being with those feelings that come up when we make a mistake. And that allows us to not blame someone else. And so actually self-compassionate people take greater personal responsibility for their actions, and they're more likely to apologize if they've offended someone. This is self-pity is sort of the biggest one. We hear about a misgiving about self-compassion, and undermining motivation is the other. So unfortunately, and particularly in our American culture, most people believe that self-criticism is an effective motivator. But research, and not just research on self-compassion, but you may have heard of Carol Dweck's work on growth mindset, fixed mindset. Research has shown that self-criticism actually undermines our self-confidence and leads to a fear of failure, that fixed mindset. So we're not taking chances, we're not growing, we're not moving forward. But on the opposite side, motivation with self-compassion comes from a desire for health and well-being, and provides that emotionally supportive environment needed for change. And the research again shows that self-compassionate people actually have very high personal standards. And the difference is they don't beat themselves up when they fail. They're less afraid of failure, and they're more likely to try again and persist in efforts, and have what we were talking about, that growth mindset, which if you're reading anything about learning and success, you want to have a growth mindset to achieve that. So I talked a bunch about some of the research on self-compassion, and just overall research on self-compassion has shown it to be powerfully linked to well-being. Fewer negative states such as depression, anxiety, stress, shame, negative body image, and more positive states such as happiness, life satisfaction, optimism, and better physical health. I just want to say a really quick minute about the difference between self-compassion and self-esteem. So self-esteem, and sometimes people say you need to have high self-esteem. That's like a good sense of your self-worth. The problem with self-esteem is that it tends to lead to a constant comparison with others, and it creates this pressure to be special and above average, and none of us can be special and above average in everything. And there's that struggle to sort of keep that elusive feeling. And self-esteem tends to be contingent. It's there in our times of success, but it deserts us in times of failure, which is actually when we need it most. When we're struggling, when we're encountering difficulty, that's when we need to have more inner coping skills and ways of dealing with that. But self-esteem and that movement doesn't really give us skills for dealing with mistakes or failure. And we tend to feel like a failure when we're compared to those who we perceive are better. In contrast, self-compassion doesn't entail evaluations of good or bad. It involves relating to ourselves kindly, especially when we're struggling, especially when we fail, especially when we're coming up against shortcomings. And it's always available to us. It doesn't desert us when we fail. It's actually a wonderful resource when we're failing. And it fosters social connectedness rather than social comparison. And the research shows, compared to self-esteem, that self-compassion is less contingent on things like physical attractiveness or successful performances. It provides a more stable sense of self-worth over time. It's linked to less social comparison and narcissism, and it really gives us a greater ability to cope over time. So that was a very quick overview of what self-compassion is. I'm just going to stop my share for a sec. And what I'd like to do is have us practice a little bit of self-compassion. And this is called the self-compassion break. And so I really invite you to close your eyes, or either fully or partially, or have a soft gaze. Just settle in for a minute. And I'm inviting you to think of a situation in your life that is difficult, that is causing you stress right now. Maybe it's a health problem, a problem in an important relationship, a work problem, some way or something you feel disrespected. Just please choose something in the mild to moderate range. We don't want to choose a big problem right now because we don't want to overwhelm ourselves as we're learning self-compassion. So really pick that experience and allow yourself really to see, hear, and feel your way into that problem. To the extent, maybe even start to feel some uneasiness in your body. And you can even check or sense, where am I feeling it the most? Make contact with that discomfort you feel in your body. And you're all off camera, so, it's totally okay to kind of get in touch with that. And once you have that, you're feeling that sense of discomfort, maybe, again, a little bit, mild to moderate, nothing major. Say to yourself slowly and clearly, this is a moment of difficulty. Or this is a moment of struggle, of challenge, whatever feels more right to you. This is mindfulness we're practicing. Other options could be, this hurts, ouch, or this doesn't feel good. Just really being mindful, bringing that awareness to the challenge right now. And then next, say to yourself, again, slowly and clearly, struggle and challenge is part of living. It's part of life. That's common humanity. Other options might be, I'm not alone. Or others would feel this way going through that. Maybe it's just a, yeah, me too. And now, if it feels right, see if there's a way you can give yourself supportive or soothing touch, maybe a hand on your heart, hand on your arm, giving yourself a squeeze on your belly, anywhere that feels supportive. Feeling the warmth of your hands. And if a supportive touch doesn't feel right, that's totally fine. Saying to yourself something like, may I be kind to myself? May I give myself what I need? That's that self-kindness piece. Perhaps asking, what quality of self-compassion do I need right now? Yin or yang? Yin language might be, may I accept myself just as I am? Or may I care for myself tenderly in this moment? Whereas yang language might be, I will not allow myself to be harmed this way. Or may I have the courage and strength to make a change. If you're having difficulty finding the right words, imagine that a close friend or loved one is having the same problem as you. What would you say to this person without giving advice? If your friend were to hold just a few of your words in their mind, what would you like those words to be? What message would you like to deliver? And see if you can offer the same message to yourself. And then slowly and gently opening your eyes. So that's the self-compassion break. We did it, I mean, I did it a little quicker than I would normally, I definitely did it quicker than I would do in the course. But the self-compassion break can be used at any moment. I mean, I've used it at the grocery store, you know, when I'm feeling stressed. I definitely have used it with clients, you know, just saying to myself, yeah, this is tough right now. And I think any therapist would feel this way, or even just like, yeah, that makes sense that I'm feeling this way. And what do I need right now? Do I need that yin? Do I need to take a breath? I mean, I normally don't, even with Zoom, I don't normally sometimes I do put my hand on my heart. But is there a way I can give myself something? And sometimes that is setting a boundary with a client. But this can be really used very quickly and easily in daily life. It's those three parts. It's really naming, acknowledging whatever we're feeling and experiencing it, validating it in some way, normalizing it, realizing this feeling and experience makes sense. We're not alone. And then bringing some self-kindness, some self-compassion, whatever way that feels right in the moment. So before I go to, well, you know what, I'm gonna go and then we'll save questions till the end. I'm gonna go, so that's one practice that therapists can use and that I use. I wanna talk a little bit about some that have been sort of specifically designed for therapists.
I want to just pause before you continue. Hi, everyone. It's Dana. As you're getting your slides set up, thank you. I've already learned a lot and I feel a lot calmer. That yin yang really speaks to me. I want to make sure that you are not absorbing what Trisha is sharing with you through the lens of how do I do this to or for my clients. This workshop is for you. So even though it will translate to skills or tools that you can share with clients, I really want to invite you and remind you to use this time to help yourselves.
And that is the perfect segue because, so, you know, I'm sure all of us are hearing and experiencing about, you know, the pandemic mental health crisis for clients. But there's, as this article from Forbes came out last week showing, you know, there's another pandemic mental health crisis, which is therapist burnout. And therapist burnout, obviously, I don't have to tell any of you, has always been an issue and a challenge, but now it's particularly pronounced. And, you know, therapist burnout is not a weakness. I think of it, it's part of our superpower. It's part of our strength of being good therapists is we have this empathic resonance. The problem with that is we are really feeling what other people, what our clients are feeling. So when we're with them, it's almost like we are experiencing it ourselves. But everyone has a limit to how much empathic distress they can bear. And self-compassion has been shown to really help with that. But first I want to say, you know, normally when someone expresses burnout, any kind of caregiving burnout or fatigue, you know, what are we encouraged to do when we suffer from that? Well, normally people say, you need self-care. You need to take care of yourself. You need to, you know, get a massage, go on a vacation, both of which are very challenging right now. But even in typical times, the limitations of self-care is it tends to happen off the job. And we need something that helps on the job. We can't say, whoa, what you're sharing is really freaking me out. I got to leave and go get a massage, or, you know, I got to go take a walk around the block to deal with that. We need something in the moment when we're feeling that emotional empathic resonance and getting a little bit overwhelmed. We need something in the moment. And self-compassion has been shown to really be that emotional resource that helps with fatigue and burnout, because we're able to turn to our own suffering and meet it, and realizing we're not alone. Again, those 3 components of self-compassion, and we're giving ourselves compassion when experiencing empathic pain, and that allows us to then give compassion to clients. And this can happen very quickly and easily, and without, I don't ever say to a client, wait, hey, I have to, close my eyes and do a mindful, self-compassion break. It's really just, I can, just turn to myself and just, talk to myself and just be like naming it. Again, that's the self-compassion break. But I'd like to do another practice. So there's 2 others that have been shown to help therapists, and also for healthcare workers. And they're called the giving and receiving compassion, and the compassion with equanimity. And I'm gonna lead you through, I'm combining the 2 today, just in the interest of time. But again, I would invite you to close your eyes, either partially or fully, maybe soft gaze, whatever feels right. And again, you're not on camera, so you can be in any position that feels comfortable to you and where you're able to receive this practice. So I invite you to take a few deep, relaxing breaths. Letting your breathing find its own natural rhythm. Feeling the sensation of breathing in and breathing out. And now focusing your attention on your in-breath only. Noticing the sensation of breathing in. Breathing in. Breathing in kindness and compassion for yourself. Feeling the quality of kindness and compassion as you breathe in. Or if you prefer, letting a word or image of kindness ride on your in-breathing, on your in-breath. And now shifting your focus to your out-breath. Feeling your body breathe out. Feeling the ease of exhalation. And now calling to mind a client who maybe is exhausting you or frustrating you in some way. A client who you care about that's struggling and needs compassion. See if you can visualize that person clearly in your mind. And begin directing your out-breath to this person, offering the ease of breathing out. Sending kindness and compassion to this person with each out-breath, one breath after another. And if it's easier for you, you can breathe out to all your clients rather than visualizing a particular one. Sending kindness and compassion to one person or a group with each out-breath. And now focusing again on the sensation of breathing both in and out. Beginning to breathe in for yourself and out for the other person or persons. So in for me and out for you. One for me and one for you. And as you breathe, drawing kindness and compassion in for yourself and sending something good out to the other. Kindness and compassion in for yourself and sending something good to the other. And feel free to adjust the balance between breathing in and out. Maybe it's 5 for me and 1 for you, or 1 for me and 2 for you, or let it be an equal flow. Whatever feels right for you at this moment. And again, that's practicing self-compassion. What feels right for me? Maybe I do need 5, maybe I need 10. There are sometimes I need 15 for me and 1 for the other, and that's okay. Or maybe you feel 1 for me and 3 or more, or however many feels right for the other. There's no formula. And now, please listen carefully to these words, letting them gently roll through your mind. Everyone is on their own life journey. I am not the cause of this person's suffering, nor is it entirely within my power to make it go away, even though I wish I could. Moments like these can be difficult to bear, yet I may still try to help if I can. Bring awareness to the stress you are carrying in your body. Inhaling fully and deeply. Again, drawing that compassion inside your body and filling every cell of your body with compassion. Letting yourself be soothed by inhaling deeply and by giving yourself the compassion you need. And as you exhale, sending out compassion to the person who is associated with your discomfort. Continue breathing compassion in and out, allowing your body to gradually find a natural breathing rhythm. Letting your body breathe itself. 1 for me, 1 for you. In for me, out for you. Inhaling compassion for yourself and exhaling compassion for others. Letting yourself float on an ocean of compassion, a limitless ocean that embraces all suffering, all difficulty, all challenge. And listening to these words once again. Everyone is on their own life journey. I am not the cause of this person's suffering, nor is it entirely within my power to make it go away, even though I wish I could. Moments like these can be difficult to bear, yet I may still try to help if I can. And now letting go of the practice and allowing yourself to be exactly as you are in this moment. And slowly and gently opening your eyes. And just taking a moment to let that practice settle. I'm gonna go back to my slides, but really taking that moment, letting it settle. So that was a combination of giving and receiving compassion and compassion with equanimity. So that was all a very quick. All those practices were, even rushed as they are, we usually give more time for them, letting it really settle, really kind of being with the experience we're feeling. So if you would like a deeper dive, I am co-teaching a mindful self-compassion course with Catherine Magner, who is the Teacher Relations Manager for the Center for Mindful Self-Compassion. And the course is on Saturdays. It actually starts 2 days from now, January 30th through March 27th. We meet for 8 of those Saturdays from 9:30 to 12:15. And then on March 6th, we have what we call a silent retreat. Which is from 9 to 12. Sometimes people get freaked out by the word retreat. I mean, obviously this is all online, so you'll be in your home. It's just more moving from practice to practice. A typical class in the Mindful Self-Compassion course, there is some practices, there's some topics and learning, a little bit of what I did today, some exercises, and then the retreat is really, it's just experiential, it's just practicing. And again, there's always the ability to turn off your screen and to do what feels right for you. It's through Ramapo College. I believe Dana is putting in, again, the link to the registration page. And if you go to the registration page, mental health clinicians get a special rate, because obviously we know how hard this is and how hard this time is for mental health clinicians. Unfortunately, Ramapo is still calling it social workers. So if it's fine, if you're a mental health clinician, you're not a social worker, please do click the social worker rate. It really should say mental health clinician, and hopefully by the next time we do the course, it will say that. And my email is here. If you're interested, I would encourage you, given it's starting Saturday, although we are recording all of our sessions. So if you missed the first one, I mean, it'd be great if you could be there, but if for some reason you can't be the first one, we can record it to you. But I would just encourage you to register as soon as possible. And you can let me know you registered. Actually, I would encourage that, just so I can make sure we have it and we can get the Zoom link to you. And obviously you can reach out to me if you have any questions about the course. Or
and just let everybody know, you all have my email address. Do not respond to Dana at Rockstar Practice. The new email address is success rockstarpractice.com. I dumped the old email because we had some issues. There's a couple of questions, Trisha. I mean,
let me just do one more slide and then I will open it up.
I want to say something about the course though. If you guys
Oh, sorry.
have a question about the course.
Yes, if it's about the course, go for it.
Feel free to email me. One question before you move on, the link to Trisha's course, and also Trisha, will you be sharing these slides with everybody? People are asking.
I can. Yes, I think I can, or I can at least share yes, I think I can. I don't think there's anything that
Before we go on, maybe you can take out anything that you don't want to share, and I can.
Yes, exactly. I just want to make sure there's not.
There's a couple of things though before you go on to sharing other options for people about.
Yes.
I want to just spend 5 minutes talking about what we just learned and the meaning of it before we go on to your other offerings. Because I have a few questions, opinions, and I'd love to hear from attendees as well. The one for me, one for you, two for me, one for you, one for me, two for you experience was very new for me. That I'm thinking if I learned that, which is super meaningful to me, in half hour, can you imagine what you'll learn in 24 hours or 28 hours? So I want to just find out from you guys what resonated for you so far, because then I think it would be really helpful, Trisha, if you can explain how diving further into a course will expand that practice. So everyone that's willing to share, type something in. The yin and the yang, also really interesting. I have 3 or 4 pages of notes.
Yeah.
I'm a note though.
Right. And this was like a really, not even a taste of mindful self-compassion. The program is so rich. And, I'll just share how I came to know of it and love it is I'm very trained and experienced in attachment theory and all the research behind that. And I did research studies, and this is a way I think there's something called earn secure, which means that if you didn't have a secure based parent or caregiving experience in your childhood, you can still get that earn secure in adulthood. I found like mindful self-compassion for me and in my work with people is the way to do that. It's really being able to have that, cultivating this inner relationship with yourself and really giving yourself that reparenting experience in a very loving, compassionate way, but also, setting boundaries. I don't feel it's personally, I've never felt it to be like, oh, I'm just not going to do that. Like, it's not a permissive parenting. It's not authoritarian. It's really that authoritative of like, bringing that love and awareness and kindness, realizing we're connected, then figuring out, okay, what do I want to do about that? Do I need just to like take a moment, take a breath, or do I need to like really problem solve or plan or set a boundary? And so the course is so rich in giving you many, many tools to feel those things, to better be able to bring awareness and kindness and realizing we're all connected, especially when things are hard. There's a lot about working with difficult emotions, experiences, shame, things that really come up that, we as people and as professionals, I think really need. And to be honest, I really feel like I don't, this is not an over exaggeration. Mindful self-compassion is what has kept me not sinking into burnout, because that article does talk about, I'm sure all of us are feeling we're working more than we have, we're not taking as much vacation. And this is really helpful for me to be able to cope with that. It doesn't make the challenges disappear, but I am much more nourished and resourced to be able to be with it all. In addition to my own, stuff, my own family, what's, how this is all affecting this. So
pause for 1 second there.
Yeah.
I like really to hear from other people about that, and people are writing some stuff in the chat that I would love to share. But the things that I wrote, where you wrote, your self-esteem is that we consider ourselves special and above average, and that deserts us in times of failure. I'm particularly interested for you all personally in this super challenging time where you're asked to do things that you were never asked to do, like hold a safe space for your client and homeschool your children, right? Like
Right.
worry and manage your personal safety and the safety of your children and hold a space for yourself and your clients. I'm curious, I'm going to put this out to the people that are with us today. How can you use mindful self-compassion right now, starting today, so that you can reduce burnout, be super kind and gentle to yourself? I love the hand on the heart. It's just acknowledging self.
Right.
Often caregivers forget to do that. So I want to put it out there to you. Maybe a couple people, if you want to just pop into the chat, how can you use this idea of mindful self-compassion? And you also wrote one other thing, naming, validating, and self-kindness. Name what you're feeling, validate that it's okay to feel that way, and then offer yourself some self-compassion or self-kindness. Does anybody have something that you learned today that you're willing to share about how you're going to use mindful self-compassion moving forward? Type it in the chat. It would be really great. What I'm going to do is you said the yin or the yang, and I already have it on post-it notes that I'm going to share. You guys can't see right now, my video is off, but you said something that I already wrote on a post-it note and put right over my screen, which is, what do I need right now?
Right.
Not what do you need right now? What do I need right now? I wrote WDINRN. What do I need right now?
That is the essential question of mindful self-compassion. What do I need right now? And it is that we know this from oxygen parenting, oxygen mass parenting. We have to resource ourselves first. And again, I like that. What do I need? The yin and the yang. Do I need the nourishing, or do I need, and the hand on the heart could also be, I need, and I would never do that to a client, but I can be internalizing, being like, whoa, I need to be with myself and set a boundary.
Symbolically,
Right.
on your heart. By the way, I'm putting my hand on my heart right now and none of you can see it.
Right.
Really,
exactly. That is the plus of Zoom, that we can hand on heart, hand on belly.
And also for challenging family members. So this goes for relationships, not just for clients.
Correct.
Right? Like if my kid, I have a 22-year-old, if she is just maybe stressed out and her energy is really frenetic, and that I'm sensitive. So if that's getting to me, I can breathe in, breathe in 1 for me and 3 for you. I'm loving that. I'm taking that one away from today and doing forever. And I love that I can control the numbers according to what I need in this moment.
Exactly.
So a couple of people said they're going to breathe in for me and out for each client. I can allow myself to not feel that I must overbook myself. Our agency is experiencing a large increase in clients. So permission to say no.
Exactly. That's the yang. That's the yang of mindful self-compassion, that's taking care of yourself. But again, it's, it's with love. It's with, because that's what happens with caregiver burnout or therapist burnout, is then we just start, putting up walls and annoyed and I can't deal with any of you. But when we can say, I'm realizing you're suffering, or struggling, difficulty, and I'm going to say no with love, with care.
Yes. The other thing, somebody wrote this, I think Nicole wrote this, and I'm thinking of it too. I love that you said it's happening right now in this moment. We're not saying like, okay, I'm having this angry feeling right now, I'll do mindful self-compassion later.
Exactly.
It's that very moment, which I think is significant. I think as therapists, we often put our own needs in the moment, our own physical, emotional needs in the moment, to the side,
Correct.
compartmentalize it so that we can focus or problem solve or support. And I love the idea that it's simultaneously. I think
It
that is
is.
easier.
And the more you practice it, and also in the course, we do things, because again, a lot is based in attachment. We talked about the touch and the breath, but also is coming up with loving kindness phrases, which sometimes you can say to yourself, instead of the breath for me and one for, I'm like, may I feel steady, or, and may you feel calm, and I can do that in my head. And now, it doesn't take away at all from what the person is saying. And truthfully, I feel like when I do it, it kind of creates a calm even in a Zoom room. It's
Yeah,
just, we're co-regulating each other, and that's humans co-regulate. I know people talk about self-regulate, but we learn to regulate through another.
I love that idea of sharing regulation, sharing the space, and having an opportunity for me too in this moment.
Right.
Sitting here and holding you and supporting you, I can also sit here and hold and support myself. I think that's the whole point here.
Exactly.
I love
Exactly.
that. People
That
are saying that they love the idea that self-compassion is not a pity party or that
it's not.
it's weak. So challenging those beliefs around giving yourself time and space and love and kindness and caring, right? Really challenging those old school beliefs or those automatic negative thoughts.
Exactly. Yeah, it really, and again, particularly the pity and and that you need criticism to motivate are the two, I think, most pervasive ones, even though the research shows the complete opposite.
Right. Somebody wrote, I like the idea of placing my hands somewhere on my body when I need to breathe in self-compassion. It doesn't have to be the heart. It could be any part. I often get headache. So if I want to acknowledge my headache, I can breathe in here and just sort of acknowledge I'm holding a lot, right? And it's okay
Right.
to release it. It's also okay to not feel well, right? It's okay.
Exactly. It's very, and again, that common humanity, we all don't feel well. We don't, get stressed and overwhelmed. We're not super people being therapists, we're human, and it's okay to acknowledge that
There's
humanness.
a larger course that, Trisha, I think you wanted to just pop
Oh,
on.
yes, I just wanted to, so there's the mindful self-compassion course that starts on Saturday, and then there's, hold on.
I'm going to email everybody links to this, so don't feel like you have to write anything down. The whole psychotherapy program, which is really
Yeah, so there's a new self-compassion and psychotherapy program that's literally launching in March. It's the first one, and it's a 30-week self-compassion psychotherapy certificate program. It's created specifically for psychotherapists, and it's really how do we integrate self-compassion more deeply into our practice. Two cohorts, one in March, although I think that one might almost be filled, and then another in October. And the three ways we're going to be focusing on it is therapists relating to themselves, which is a little bit of what we did today, how self-compassion can help therapists relate to their clients, and how do we help clients have skills that they can help themselves. The mindful self-compassion course is a prerequisite. So if you're all interested, please, sign up for the course that starts on Saturday. I am a clinical consultation group leader. So we're going to be meeting a lot, talking about cases and how we can integrate, self-compassion in that. And that website about the program is there. It's a SKIP program.
I will send that to everybody when I send you the link to the replay. I want to thank you. If you can unshare your screen.
Yes.
I want to thank everybody, and thank you
Yes.
specifically, Trisha, for spending an hour with us today, even more than that, preparing and, offering to be very generous in spirit and time. And these workshops really help all of us. They help me in particular. And I love showing up in this space with everybody every week. So I want to honor you for taking this time for you and for sharing this time with us. And thank you so much, Trisha.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. Pleasure to be with you all. Take
Bye,
good
everybody. Stay well.